Welcome into Arsenal Report. And I think the craziest thing I've seen in a long time is this attacker spend number that Arsenal have spent since 2020 in comparison to the other clubs in the world. Arsenal sits 60th, having spent only 80 million euros since 2020. In 5 years, they've spent 80 million euros on 6 total attacking signings. In comparison, Chelsea has spent 803 million euros on 21 signings. PSG has spent 476 million euros on 17 signings. If you want to look in the Premier League, Man City, Man United, Aston Villa. Man City has spent 417 million. Man United 347. Aston Villa has spent nearly 300 million euros on attacking signings, 15 attacking signings since 2020. But Arsenal, who are trying to win the Champions League and the Premier League every given season, have spent just 80 million euros on attacking signings since 2020. So that's Gabriel Jesus, who they spent about 35 on. That's Kai Havertz, who they spent about 50 on. That's it. Those are the signings. Trossard was like 19, 20 million. I don't really understand exactly where this number comes from because Jesus and Havertz and Trossard should be a little bit more than 80 million euros. But I guess that maybe doesn't include add-ons or whatever it might be. But nonetheless, they're using the same metric that they're using for all the other clubs. Chelsea have spent 10 times as much on 4 times as many signings on attackers. And they've done nothing. So it is an interesting conversation, right? It's like spend doesn't always mean success. But you could find yourself in the Liverpool category, which is 7 signings, 246 million. Or if you look at Bayern Munich, 11 signings, 264 million. Those are clubs that have been successful in most of their signings. Not all. Obviously, Darwin Nunez hasn't been the most successful signing for Liverpool. But then obviously there's failures like Tottenham, 12 signings for 300 million. Or Chelsea, as I mentioned, 21 signings for 800 million. But even PSG, like if you keep striking, you will hit. 17 signings, 476 million. Plenty of misses. Ekitike was a miss. Kolomuani was probably a miss. But, you know, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, those have all been huge hits. So the gist of what I'm saying is Arsenal need to go out and spend, and this summer they need to buy 2 or 3 attackers because at least 1 or 2 will hit if you buy 2 or 3. You're not going to hit on every signing, and Arsenal have been so scared to miss because of years of almost trauma from the Emirates debt. But we need to make a signing or 2 or 3 this summer to catch up with some of these other clubs. I mean, even Wolves have spent 200 million euros on 13 total signings. Another signing that I think could really make a huge difference in the way we attack is actually a new left back. I was watching a lot of clips from the season we almost made top 4. So I want to say that's 2020, 2021, when Kieran Kearney had his best season for Arsenal. And the ability for him to open up space out wide, to overlap, to get into attacking zones, really made a huge difference in the way that we played. It allowed Martinelli and whoever's on that left wing to play a little bit more centrally. It allowed us to overload the right side much better, which allowed Saka to get in way fewer 1-on-5s, and it would be way more 1-on-1, 1-on-2s. And the whole side of the pitch, we're kind of able to shift the defense over there. And then instead of having our left back be, basically playing midfield, sitting next to Partey or Rice or Zubimendi, whoever it might be, we had a left back who would make a late diving run and completely changed the way that we played. It not only made everyone else better, but it also brought a number of goal and assist opportunities from that left back side, and it made us less predictable, which to me is the biggest difference. When we play these mid blocks, so often we get so predictable, moving the ball slowly from side to side. There's not someone keeping the width on the other side, so it takes forever to get it over there. Teams are able to know where we're going next. We're not really able to kind of create mini transitions, as I like to call them, where, you have everyone on one side and then you play a crossfield pass, which allows you to, the idea of transitions is to allow players to get into 1v1s. That's basically the concept. And we're unable to do that against mid blocks. And I think a big reason for that is we don't really have any kind of overlapping ability. Ben White used to really create those with his overlaps. He seemed a little bit off it the last couple of weeks. I think he's still recovering from injury and just didn't play a lot this year, but he'll continue to overlap on that right side. But a true bombing left back, like a true old school bomb up the wing left back, I think would completely change the way we play. Milos Kerkez would be my number one option. I know Liverpool or City are very close to signing him, so I don't think he's realistic. Theo Hernandez is a bit of a long shot signing, but one who, if he somehow became available because Milan aren't in Europe, he would be an absolute dream. And like, again, you sign 2 attackers and a Theo Hernandez, that's the same thing as signing 3 attackers. It really, really would change the way that we attack, which is why we're trying to bring in new attackers. And it would make us so much less predictable. I don't know how else to keep hammering that home, but we've become such a predictable side, which means sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but teams know kind of a formula to beat us. But if they have to worry about one more extra attacker who kind of pops up here and there, it would completely change our attack and also make Gabriel Martinelli a lot better of a player. The Thomas Partey rumors just will not go away in terms of him talking with the club about extending his contract. Charles Watts, who's one of the best reporters out there, mentioned that the talks are heating up. But I will say, of all these reports, they don't say they're necessarily just heating up in terms of him staying. It says they're heating up in terms of them making a decision on if he's going to stay. And to me, from what I know about Thomas Partey's camp and the previous negotiations around signing him, is he's not going to take a wage decrease, and I know Arsenal are only offering him a big wage decrease with potential bonuses for staying fit, for playing well, yada, 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 whereas he has a huge money offer in Saudi where he could leave all this behind him. He is not going to be a first-choice player next year with Zubimendi coming in. There's no doubt about that, hence why another reason why the wages need to be low. I've spoken so much about the off-the-field issues that I think really are the thing that hang its biggest cloud over this club right now. It's not even anymore. I mean, obviously, the truth is all that matters, and if he's done what he's been accused to be doing, he's a terrible human being, and he has no right to be at our club. But it also disconnects the fans from the club, even just having these accusations out. And whether or not that's fair to him, I don't really care. You should never be in a position where these accusations come about for you. And for that very reason, Arsenal need to move on from him, and hopefully these contract talks are going to end very quickly, and by the time the summer window opens, Partey is gone. He's an afterthought, and we're moving on to new signings. People are so worried about having to replace him in the squad. Zubimendi's coming in. So everyone's saying Zubimendi's the Jorginho replacement. Well, Jorginho didn't play 1,000 minutes this year, so Zubimendi's going to take up basically most of Partey's minutes. Miles Lewis-Skelly will take up some of the rest of the minutes in midfield. And Mikel Merino, who didn't play much midfield this year, is going to take up midfield minutes. So I don't know if there's another midfield signing that needs to happen for sure. Maybe you go for a younger player to take some midfield minutes. But between Ethan and Miles playing some more midfield minutes, Merino playing midfield minutes, and Zubimendi coming, I feel pretty confident that we don't need to worry about replacing Thomas Partey. And last, but certainly not least, there's been big rumors of Nico Williams potentially joining Real Madrid, which is obviously just bananas. Like, they already have Vinny, Mbappe, Bellingham, Arda Güler, Endrick, Rodrygo. Obviously, if Nico Williams were to come, one of them has to leave, which seems like it will be Rodrygo. But the question asks, if you were Arsenal, would you rather have Nico Williams or Rodrygo? Let's assume same price, same wages, because I think they're going to be fairly similar. I think the price is going to be... Nico Williams may actually have higher wages and a little bit lower price, but I think the package all in won't be wildly different. I'd probably rather have Rodrygo, right? I know Real Madrid always like a shiny new toy, but Rodrygo's done it at the highest level, been on the biggest stage, won everything. He is a more true goal scorer, in my opinion, someone who has more versatility. Nico Williams is pretty much strictly a left winger. A lot of people saying, oh, he grew up playing right wing. Okay, well, Bukayo Saka grew up playing left wing, but would you consider him a left winger now? No, that's not how it works. He's been identified that his best position is a left winger, right? And for Rodrygo, it's also been identified his best position is a left winger, and he's played some right wing, he's played some striker, but he truly does play across the line. To me, Rodrygo would be a much better signing. If this works out in our favor where Nico Williams goes there, we could get Rodrygo for a cheaper fee potentially. All could work out very well for the Arsenal. Rodrygo is the kind of statement signing that would really, I think, change the way the fans look at our board and change the way the fans look at our attack, which is also huge because I think there is starting to be a little bit of, those first 2 big years under Arteta, 22-23 and 23-24, the fans were obsessed with him, obsessed with the club. And I think we're losing a little bit of that obsession, but a signing like Rodrygo would bring that obsession back. Thanks for watching Arsenal Report. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're posting videos daily. If you need to ask any questions or want anything covered, throw it down there in the comments, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.